Joel went here. I want to add one more video to the videos I made yesterday, sort of introducing various things, because I think this 8th video will give some sense of the nature of the details that we need to go into if we're going to advance our understanding of love. Remember, this is about love, and the reason we talk about the redemption of Eros is we're bringing back into the matrix of our understanding of love deeper principles out of the feminine. Now, I said yesterday that what makes for desire in a woman is to be desired. And then when I went into examples, I went into the nature of older women in whom this desire for sex tends to moderate. They tend to let go of it. They don't specifically need it so much unless there's some other circumstance going on in their life. Now, of course, every situation of which I speak, in which I give any kind of general principle, is going to have all kinds of exceptions. And to help the viewer understand the nature of exceptions in this kind of case, let's consider certain things, okay? Now, we're taking a spiritual view, and one of the older spiritual views of the development of women describes them going through 3 stages. The early stage is the maiden, the middle stage is the mother, and the older stage is the crone. And of course, for a lot of people, that means something ugly and totally unsexual. And the fact is, of course, that's not the idea that it has at all. You can look it up on the internet and see what people, particularly women, think about the older stages of a woman's life. And crones will, that stage of life, let's call that the mature stage of a woman's nature, has different purposes. And because we're talking about love and the fact that the human organism and the human being and their experience on the earth is meant to embody and to learn love, we have to be careful about things that we do. And the older stages of life of a woman are very complicated. Yesterday, when I made the original 7 videos, the best I could do was sort of skip over the surface of things, like a rock thrown into a still pond. It goes bounce, 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 bounce. You know, everything that I said has depth to it, and we're going to come around to these depths. Now let's take what I said. I said that desire in a woman was a little flame, and that this flame is engendered or increased when they experience being desired. Okay? Now there's different ways of looking at it. Let's deal with some of the confusion that can happen. It's important, if we're going to have the scientific impulse into our understanding of love, and I don't mean for the scientific impulse to dominate, we just need to include it. You know, we need to be artistic, we need to be religious, we need to be scientific when we think about the nature of love in its various forms. So for example, what do we know from our experiences of high school? Now, this is a situation in which the hormones unfold, and the child moves from their natural sensuality and becomes a sexual person. Now, immediately they do this, a great deal depends on the cultural milieu in which this transition happens. We also know that today, girls are becoming fertile sooner. We also know that today there's all this chemistry around our lives. You know, we swim in a sea of synthetic chemistry that comes at us from all directions. Our foods are adulterated. Our culture is in fallen arrows. All of these things are going to influence what a young woman who's a maiden feels about her sexuality. By and large, it's defined for her from the outside. She gets told. And she also brings to it various kinds of situations. So here's something that can happen in high school, and everybody knows that this happens. There are all kinds of sad dramas made about it. But one of the things that can happen is because of a family situation, a young girl needs things. And one of the things she needs is attention. And she finds a way to get attention is to be sexual, to offer her favors, because all around her are all these horny young men. Now what does that mean, horny young men? Well, the fact when their hormones kick in, is there is a energy connected to their testicles that makes them want to plant their seed. And we can look at the animalistic aspect of this and say, oh my God, they're just animals, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about understanding the energy. And let me just show you one of the things that's... hold on a minute. It's got to be here someplace. I'm going to pause. I lost a book. I'll be right back. Magic right back. Okay. Remember I showed you yesterday the cross of love, and that's what we talked about. We talked about the different kinds of love. We didn't get deeply into various other things. Here's something else. This is a picture of the divine instrument of love. Okay? That's the divine instrument of love. That's the human organism. That's what we are. We're designed to love. Okay? And there's at the top you have what's called the three-body structure, which is spirit, soul, and body. And all of those things we can experience. We already experience it. We just have been taught by our culture to give different names to these things. I want to get us back the truer, somewhat older names, because there's a lot of truth in them. Now, a modern way is also that there's a four-body structure. Now, what's in the four-body structure? Well, it's a different way of looking at the human organism, but there's the ego, or the warmth body, the astral, or the desire body, the life, or the ethereal body, and the physical, or the material body. Okay? That's the four-body structure. And there's the seven energy structure. Okay? And this is traditionally known as the chakras. Okay, so you have the crown chakra, the eyebrow chakra, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the sacral chakra, and the base chakra. Now this terminology is not meant to impose any kind of religious or spiritual idea on anybody who wants to think about it. This is to raise questions so that when we seek to understand what's going on inside us, we understand that our attention can be put with respect to various kinds of dynamics. You know, we can understand spirit, soul, and body. We can understand the four bodies from a different point of view. We can understand the seven energy centers because we have an experience related to those things. And that experience is crucial. Okay? So what we call desire in a young woman in high school whose family life has left her with a kind of sense of emptiness and an absence of a certain self-worth, and when she's going out and she's acting like what some people want to call a slut, which is an awful thing to say about a young woman, but nevertheless we know it gets said, where she's offering favors. You know, she's offering to let boys who are driven to touch her and to have her and to do what they want with her. Is that what she is experiencing? Desire? Desire in an erotic or sensual sense? It's not. And we need to realize as we go forward into these lessons that there are a lot of questions here and a lot of details, and we need to make anything but snap judgments if we're going to redeem Eros, if we're going to bring love back in the right way into the future of human existence.